an outer world and an inner world. The outer world, which we call it worldly life, it turns us all outside, outward, and most of our activities from morning till evening are happening in that world. And sometimes we are completely lost in that world, forgetting about the fact that there is another world, and that is the inner world. And the inner world turns us within. Now, when we think of outer world, outer knowledge, we all stand on different levels of this outer knowledge. Some are more knowledgeable in one field, some are more knowledgeable in the other field. So there is variation in the outer knowledge. But when it comes to inner world, one thing is so divine, so beautiful, that the divine has equipped all of us with the same power, the power of self. We all are equal as it relates to the inner world. The inner power that we carry, the inner power that we are born with, is the same with all of us. The only difference is those who are aware of this inner power, they are cashing in that and making their life very beautiful. But those who are not aware of this inner power, they are living with sleeping consciousness because they are not aware of it. So think about it. If we close our eyes and start walking, the chance of having an accident is for sure. It's just a matter of time when and where it will happen. But when we are walking with our eyes wide open, when we are awake, then we are very mindful of everything that comes in our way. And we create our way very smoothly, minimizing the chance of accidents. So, yogic science awakens us to the fact that, my child, there is this inner world, there is that inner power that is waiting for you to get connected. It's waiting for you to utilize it so that you can be victorious in life. And through yogic knowledge, yogic wisdom, you connect with it. It's there for you, use it. So let's try to understand this a little more. Think about it. When we go visit very beautiful churches that have amazing carvings outside, and as we go and visit the church or a temple, and the temple and the church is very famous for its outside design, and it's years and years old, and when we visit, for a moment we just stand there and we look at the outer beauty, and we are so happy, and we say, wow. But till such time we go inside the church, till such time we go in and sit with cannot realize the peace, isn't it? Outside we are happy, but the moment we go in, and that is the moment we start to experience peace. We go in, and we realize peace. Inside there is no carvings, there is no decoration, it's empty. And whatever exists, our eyes are shut to that world also. And when our eyes are shut to that world, then the inner journey starts to take place. When we start moving in the inner world, instantly peace is realized. Let's think this through. It's a very important fact of life. The more we start to understand, better the life becomes. Think of it. When something goes wrong with our car, what do? We go in, open up the engine, check everything. What's wrong? When something goes wrong with our TV, a big 52-inch TV, what do? First thing is, you go in to check are all the wires are connected. You don't just go out and start cleaning the outer. What do? We go in. When there is a plumbing problem and we call the plumber, what does he do? First thing he does is opens up the pipe and see is it clogged, and he needs to cleanse it. He doesn't just come and wash the outer. He goes in. Look at our laptops. Something goes wrong with the laptop. What do? We open it up and go in to see what's where went wrong. So, in the outer world, anytime something goes wrong, what are we doing? We are still going in. But the irony of life is, the sad part of our life is, when we are falling apart, when we are hit by pains and miseries in our life, when we are sad, when inside is bleeding, we are suffering, we forget to go in. We continue to explore in the outer world with all the solutions that are possible, but we fail to go in. Why? Because we are not aware. What are we not aware? We are not aware the powers that we are born with. We are not aware that if the internal connection is not there, that we have not taken the time and the effort to connect through the wires of knowledge with the inner self, then we are walking with closed eyes. We're walking with the sleeping consciousness on this journey of life. So accidents in terms of sadness, pain, failures, stresses, strains is definitely going to happen. And not only they will happen, when they happen, we will not have the strength or the power to deal with it. Because we are so involved, indulged in only the outer world, which is constantly depleting us. Isn't it? Makes sense? Everyone agrees? Makes sense at least? Let's think this further. We exchange gifts on every occasion, right? Birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas times. And every gift is wrapped with a beautiful wrapping paper. So when we look at the beautiful wrapping paper, first thing we do is say, oh wow, how beautifully it's wrapped. We love it. beautiful wrapping paper. But the true joy comes in when you unwrap the paper to see the present. The real joy lies in that present. Those who are stuck only looking at the paper and not do the unfoldment will have very little joy. But those who quickly unfold the present to see the presence of that present are filled with happiness. Similarly, through yoga, through yogic knowledge, through yogic practice, when we unfold this beautiful present of life and move within, we find the presence of the powerful self that we all carry. And as we connect with that powerful self, the key to all the problems, the key to all the miseries is gained. We start gaining strength, we start gaining power, we start gaining confidence at that very moment. So, last thing before we start our stretches is remember that yogic science, spiritual science, it's a battery that provides us with the power to run the worldly life. Think about it, that for us to use this cell phone, it needs to be fully charged. The battery needs to be fully charged or it will not work. So yogic life is that battery. With yogic knowledge and yogic practice, we charge that battery, and once the battery is charged, then only we can run the worldly life with it. If we start to only go with the worldly life without charging the spiritual, the yogic battery, then that worldly life creates a lot of obstruction in terms of physical and mental pain and illnesses. And it completely depletes us from the energy that we have. But when we gain so much yogic energy, Atma Bal, in Sanskrit it's called Atma Bal. When we increase the life force within us through yogic practices and yogic knowledge, and with that increased higher wisdom, higher clarity, higher consciousness, we go after the world, our worldly activities, we are successful. Not only we are successful, but we gain so much power that even when we are dealing with challenges in life, we are so strong inside that the inner strength is vibrating with a frequency that is much greater than the frequency the world is vibrating. So because we are vibrating with a higher energy, higher frequency, higher level of consciousness, the outer problems, challenges, when they come to us, they look like a very small dot in front of so much light. And it doesn't affect us. It doesn't affect us at all. Trust me, it happens. I am not saying that challenges will not come the moment we start practicing yoga. No. But when pains in terms of physical ailments or mental ailments will come to us, yoga will give us the inner life, the inner world will give us so much power that we will not be impacted by it. We would still come out of it heroic, victorious. Nobody can tell that we've gone through this challenge because we don't feel it physically and mentally. Yes, it happens. Why? Because it helps us to rise above it. Just like, we have heard of a lotus flower. A beautiful lotus flower, it's born in a muddy water. Dirty water filled with mud. But when it's rising, it rises so much above that mud that most of the deities like Goddess of Wealth, Lakshmi, or even Lord Buddha, they are seated on that flower. If you look at any of those pictures, you'll see they're seated on that flower. That flower is considered to be the most beautiful, pure, pious flower. And not even a small dot of mud you can see anywhere in it because it rises so beautifully. Symbolizes the fact that yes, the world is noisy. Yes, the world is filled with pain and misery. Yes, the world is filled with stresses and strains and challenges. But with the power of inner self, when we connect with it, we can also rise above that worldly pain. So, we can lead a life of total bliss. It's possible. So, with this deeper knowledge about the powers of inner world, about the powers of yoga, about the power of connecting with the inner self, when we do yogic practices, something very, very divine, something very, very miraculous start to take place within us. So with this knowledge we'll start today's stretches. So let's go ahead and stand.